I never thought I'd be the last one out of my school. As a senior, I had imagined a triumphant exit on the last day of classes, tossing my books in the air and never looking back. But this wasn't that. It was dark when I finally finished my assignment in the library. Miss Horton, the librarian, had left an hour ago, leaving me in charge of locking up. The school had a strange emptiness to it, and the silence echoed unervingly through the halls. I wasn't one to scare easily, but something felt off tonight. I grabbed my backpack and started towards the exit. As I passed by the classrooms, I heard the soft squeak of a door opening. My heart skipped a beat. I turned, only to see Mr. Thompson's room slightly ajar. He wasn't here this late, was he? I hadn't seen his car in the lot. Cautiously, I pushed the door open further. The classroom was dark, but the old clock on the wall ticked loudly, almost aggressively. My eyes adjusted, and I saw something unusual. A shadow, faint, near the far corner of the room. I blinked hard. "Hello!" My voice wavered, echoing in the empty space. No response. I shook my head, convincing myself I was imagining things, and turned to leave. As soon as I did, a loud slam echoed from down the hall, the sound of a locker door violently shutting. I froze. It wasn't just me here anymore. A cold breeze hit the back of my neck. I whipped around, but the hallway was still and lifeless. With growing dread, I walked faster, heading towards the front door, trying to ignore the goosebumps crawling over my skin. Just as I reached the main hall, the lights flickered, then went out completely. I was enveloped in total darkness. Panic bubbled up in my throat. My phone's flashlight barely pierced the shadows. In the dim glow, I could make out the rows of lockers, stretching endlessly ahead of me. But one locker about 5 feet away stood slightly open. That wasn't right. I knew for a fact all the lockers were shut when I came in earlier. I took a step closer, and my phone screen flickered. Before I could react, the locker door creaked open wider, its rusted hinges screeching as though it hadn't been touched in years. And then I saw it. Inside the locker, a face, pale, gaunt, with hollow eyes staring back at me. I stumbled backward, gasping for air, dropping my phone, clattered loudly, and the screen went black. My breathing quickened, and the face slowly started emerging from the locker. I couldn't move. It was like something had a grip on my body, locking me in place. The figure pulled itself out fully now, a distorted shape of a student. Its clothes were tattered, and its skin seemed to stretch unnaturally over its bones. It opened its mouth, but no sound came out. Instead, I heard whispering all around me, coming from every direction. I fumbled for my phone, trying to find the light again, but the whispers were growing louder, more insistent, as if voices were surrounding me. Then, I heard a single word clearer than the rest. "Stay." The lights suddenly flickered back on, and the figure vanished. The locker door was closed as if nothing had ever happened. But something had happened, I was certain of it. My body shook, my heart pounding out of my chest. I turned and sprinted for the front doors. As I reached for the handle, I glanced back once more. At the far end of the hallway, standing under the flickering light, was the same figure, staring directly at me. The last bell rang, shrill and deafening. I burst out of the building, gasping for fresh air, refusing to look back. Whatever had been in that school, it wasn't human, and it wasn't done with me yet. I never went back, and I wasn't the only one to see it. Years later, I found out about a student, Jake McGuire, who disappeared in the school back in the 80s. He was last seen going to his locker after the final bell. No one ever found him. I wish I didn't know the truth. Now I can't stop hearing those whispers, especially when I pass by my old school. "Stay."